Welcome to another live edition of the Roundtable, coming to you live from the WWDBTV shows in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you know anything in between, I think Idaho's 5 p.m. right now. What's that?
I said, let him figure it out.
That's right. Except our guest is in Idaho. So I'm glad he knew that he was an hour ahead so we can be an hour behind and just get them all together.
Absolutely. I think that's a great plan.
You like that?
Best plan in the whole wide world.
You started out by like Adrian Cronauer.
I know.
Good morning.
I know, and I wanted to see how long my breath of air would carry me. And thank God that I stopped when I did, because that's about the fun.
You must have got a lot of rest this weekend after a week of just moving and grooving.
Yes, sleep and packing boxes really don't.
Oh, you're packing boxes? Oh,
that's right.
You're not leaving us, right?
Welcome to watching us on Facebook and YouTube.
There you go.
By the way, the Facebook page now that you can watch not only on our show, WWDBTV Las Vegas is the new Facebook page until Facebook kicks John off and we have to create another one. We got it? We're good? Okay. YouTube, same two names, WWDBTV, and of course our channel, The Roundtable. And in about a couple of days, 2-3 days, you can, if you have Roku, great. If you don't have Roku, not so great. You got to download it, get it. Because then you can download the WWDBTV Studios channel on Roku and get not only us, but the what, gentlemen?
The plethora of other shows.
A bunch of other shows.
Plethora.
Many to choose from. By the way, our phone number, if you want to call in, 702-992-3207. Before we get started, I want to let the world know, our audience, if you all watch the promo, we have a special guest tonight with us from Idaho. His name is Josh. What is it? Josh Anderson? Josh McConnell? Josh Anderson. Who is Josh? He's the owner of what? He's got a lot of businesses.
He's the co-owner.
Look at all that highlights.
Yeah, I know.
Look at all that.
I'm telling you, man. We had to roll out a scroll on this.
You know that roll of toilet paper? I had to keep writing that on the scroll.
I get it.
He is one of the founders of 7K Metals, which, by the way, you'll notice not over my head, but you notice it over there, right above George there. 7K Associates. Anyway, we're going to talk about economy. That's really what we're going to talk about.
That's right.
We're going to give Josh is going to impart his many, many years of wisdom about the economy and currency and gold, silver, and fiat. I thought it was a car until I joined this. I didn't know that it was a currency name. I was barely around when Nixon created this thing, but now I found out it was currency. Then there's bricks in Europe. I don't know. There's all sorts of construction going on.
There's all kinds of bricks, yeah.
But here's the best part. That's why I brought Josh on.
Yeah.
I sound bad enough when I try to talk about something I know about.
Yeah.
But to try to talk about something I don't know about, I'm glad Josh is with me.
We got cement bricks.
We got cement bricks.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. We got gold bricks.
Got gold bricks.
Silver bricks.
I know people who are gold bricks too.
We got all kinds of bricks.
By the way,
yes.
Before we get started, I wanted to bring up that I know you guys were last weekend. We're at the 7K convention here in Las Vegas, and I did the show here by myself, which was fun. But I wanted to. And
chopped liver.
Right, and John and I. It was like I was Howard Stern and he was Robin Givens, but I wanted to shout. I did.
Oh, you're on a roll, huh?
Right.
Okay.
I did want to make a point. I did mention it last week too. I wanted to thank with you guys here the suicide prevention walk we did a couple of weeks ago with May and Michelle.
Yep.
And how fun it was. And that's the last time I've seen you guys was then.
Correct.
And just wanted to thank them again for inviting us. And I saw the photo and I put her up there that we sponsored the start and finish line, and it was a really good time. And I just wanted to tie it in because I know Josh is here to talk about 7K.
That's
and you guys were there last weekend. So
no, absolutely. And I don't know if I shared some of the some of the numbers.
Statistics.
They were here. They wanted like 1,500 participants, right?
Right.
They were at 1,420, 1,425.
Yeah.
As of prior to the silent auction items being tallied, they had raised about $117,000 in the event up to that point. And I say without the silent auction items because they still had to tabulate all that.
Right.
But when they made the announcement of 117, it was before the silent auction items were all paid for.
Yeah.
And I did buy a silent auction item, by the
So
way.
how did Rick's jersey? Did Jersey go?
Somebody got it.
Yeah, somebody bought it. They're throwing tomatoes and onions.
Well, as long as
Now
it
on
kinds
wasn't,
of stuff
Stack,
at
now on
tomatoes.
Stack and Sell, Rick Upchurch jersey.
well, as long as it wasn't a Raider fan that
No.
did it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't doubt it was a Raider fan.
I'm actually taking a little piece of Knights with me. They had this little end table about this high, the metal. It was not cheap, and I said I got to take a little Vegas Gold Knights with me, right? I got it for $80.
Yeah,
What
you
was
did.
it?
Nice
What
thing.
was it? It was
like a little end table, like
Oh,
for
that's
a
cool.
pool next to
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like that
that's
kind of
cool.
But wasn't it cool, man? All the vendors
Oh.
that were there, all the different, things, going to the vendors and talking with them,
The
and
resources.
why they're
Right.
there, the resources in that old deal.
To help
That's
people
what it's
in
all
need.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met with we met with a couple of them. I had a follow-up conversation with one last week. Tomorrow after Kiwanis Connects, I have another follow-up meeting with one of them also. So it was great contacts for us,
It
and
was.
really just good for us to get out there. as
And
a
the thing
roundtable.
is, like you just said,
Yeah.
getting out there, I'm not one that goes out a lot and helps out with the community a lot. I have, but this made me decide that I want to do a little more. It was a lot of fun,
Good.
and that's the plan, is to be a
Good.
little more engaged in the
Well, there's nothing
community.
better when you see grassroots activities, and for us as a show that's based here, and we can participate in those grassroots activities as well. And listen, how many do we average on our show of viewers? 50, 60, 40, 80,000, whatever it is. Those are all extra eyes on anything that we touch, go to, talk about, speak about. Right?
3 weeks ago was almost 100,000.
Really?
On the last time
Must
we
have been a
did.
different show.
Yeah.
Well, it was George.
I saw
It was George alone,
that's
wasn't
by
it?
myself. We had
Oh, okay.
53. Not by myself. It was 53 total, not
Oh,
53,000.
That's right.
Well, George,
53.
you're all popular. Hey, are you running for president again?
I'm done,
Yo,
man.
you're done running for
Yeah,
president?
my dog said, I'm tired of checking the front yard and the bushes.
Okay,
I used to get
okay.
threatened a lot when I ran the last time. I said, I wasn't even a viable candidate. So
That's right. But he was. Actually, if you go on to YouTube, look up Vegas Unwrapped, George Miklos, presidential candidate. The video is still up there with
It is.
Ricky Cash and I, and George coming in and talking about his platform.
8 years ago.
Is it
already.
that long already? 8
9.
years?
Yeah,
Well, Ricky's
2015.
kind of Father's Day will be, or Mother's Day will be
He actually
2
came
years.
in to talk about his platform shoes.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, I see. Yeah.
Well,
So you
anyway,
got me
can I-
back for the Robin Givens
Well,
thing.
anyway, can I get an autograph? I need a.
I'll give it to
autograph
you
from
for
him.
free now, but next time around, it's going to cost you.
Okay.
I've been hanging around with Al Pacino, Vince Vaughn the last couple of weeks.
Oh,
So the
those
price,
guys.
the price
Al
goes
Pacino.
up.
Hooah!
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Just do you hear him talking about? Wait a second, that's Al Pacino. Holy shit! I'm on the same set.
The aspiring actor.
Yeah.
Did you go out and have dinner with him?
I wish I could have been that close.
Oh, really? Arm's length apart, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, he went out
Pretty
to
much.
dinner. He expected it to be served by him. That's
All right.
Oh.
Although I've been hanging around Vince a little more. Actually, Vince and I have actually had some conversations.
So when is he
Good.
coming on the show as a guest?
That'd be awesome. I didn't get that far with him.
You didn't get that far. That's right. We're not
Yeah,
that
when pigs
close.
fly.
Apparently. All right. Everybody had a good week though since we were all last together.
Yeah.
It's been a couple
Yeah.
of weeks.
Yeah.
Wonderful week.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
been great. I'm glad we are all back together. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step aside a little early for the break. Now that we've warmed everybody up, because that means Josh can only take us that much higher because we are always down. No. So
Well,
we
yeah.
come back. We're going to bring him on. So, folks, you may literally want to grab a pen and paper, pencil.
Absolutely.
Know that this show will be available because we know that Josh is going to share a lot of great information about the economy, gold, silver, what he's done, and all the like. You're watching The Roundtable. More to come right after this.
All right.
Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here. We've had callbacks here. We've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space, chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
Hey, welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Aaron. That's Sweet Feet Up Church, and that's the voice. I'm the voice. That's the mouth over
The
there.
mouth.
George Nicholas.
There's a difference.
There is.
You have the
absolutely.
voice.
All right,
I have
without
a mouth.
further ado, which we will not get confused as the sauce you dip your roast beef sandwich in. It is now time to bring in our guest all the way from Idaho.
That's all.
She's got a great family, 5 kids, beautiful wife, Katie. a co-founder of course, as we talked about, 7K Metals, Stack and Sell, Sound Money. All of this is part of everything. The guy's he's a chairman of USA Idaho Wrestling. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
not at all.
Oh my goodness.
He wrestles with potatoes in the backyard, I think is what it is. Wild West Adventures. I mean, Josh, let me ask you, what are you not doing out there?
That's a really good question. I'm a little bit involved in things. I'm just a serial entrepreneur who loves to start businesses, and anything I'm passionate about, I really get involved in. So yeah, even in wrestling, right? There's a world championship ring. This is
I like it. I like it.
Congratulations to our world. This is from the world team this summer. All of our Olympic athletes won the world championship, and they're going to bring home the gold medal this summer. And so I participate with them and do some projects.
I thought my rings were big.
That was nice.
Does that fit your wrist, Josh? I mean, you can put that on your wrist.
Exactly. Well, maybe my bicep even,
I don't even know if that would fit Andre the Giant's hand. It's big. But no, that's cool. I mean, listen, you do have a wealth of knowledge in so many different areas because of your entrepreneurial spirit and background. And I have to say, he mentioned it makes smiles and he's happy when he's doing that. Yeah. I got to tell you, for the 4 days we saw him at the convention last week, and folks, to be fully transparent, Rick and I are supportive of 7K. We were at the convention last week.
Absolutely.
This is not a sales pitch. I'm going to put a disclaimer out there right now. This is not a sales pitch, although if you want to learn more, we'll talk about that. However, I don't think there was a time I saw Josh not smile whenever we saw him.
Well, he has a million reasons to smile.
That's a good point.
No doubt about it.
That's a very
He's got a million and more, because once again, we're getting ready to expand. Yeah. So that means that he's going to reach different horizons in that hotel, and it's going to be more than a million reasons. The
good thing is, normally I would say to somebody like that, just remember us little people, but we can be that too when we grow up. That's a good thing. All right. So let's get to it. A lot of people, the economy being what it is, and I kind of joked about it at the top about this word fiat, but I want to go back a little bit in time because there are going to be the certain part of the demographic that literally will have the same response that I had half-heartedly that I thought it was a car. Please explain what that term is. Where did it derive from so that we get a base understanding of where things are today?
Yeah, so fiat currency, right? The word fiat currency means a currency that is put into that it gains its value by force. So like we're all familiar with this, right? $100 bill, right?
Well, I don't know about that. Wait a minute. I thought you had a $1 bill. I don't know about that.
Well, maybe I'll pull out a $1 bill, but
okay, please. Yes.
But
I can relate better.
Yeah, but what makes this have value in the world and what makes you be willing to take this from me for a good or service is the force of the US government. It's not backed by anything else. It's backed by force that the government of a country says, I have to take it for goods and services inside the borders of this country. And so that's what that word means. Fiat currency is a currency that is held in place by force, opposed to throughout history, in particular over the last 5,000 years, right? Currencies that haven't been that way are things like gold and silver, right? Things that are not put in place by force, but are put in place by their intrinsic value. And so that's kind of the difference between what a fiat currency is and what I like to say what real money is, right? Real money is not fiat currency.
Yeah. And there's a difference, right, Josh, between money and currency, right? Currency is something that you can actually, I think, that can gain value, right? That can gain value. You can spend it anywhere. And then when you talk about money, it's something that loses its value. Am I right in that phrase?
Yeah, we all have experienced this in the last, especially in the last 2 years, but in our lifetimes, right? We've experienced for example, here in the United States, we've experienced the US dollar with inflation. It's losing its purchasing power, right? That's the reality. It doesn't go as far. Like I was just in your wonderful city, right, last week. Hey, a water costs $13 in your city.
And we thank you for helping our economy out here.
I'm trying my very best. Right?
That's outrageous.
A Coca-Cola was $7, right? That's inflation, right? The U.S. dollar, especially since the 1970s, especially since Richard Nixon came out in 1970, and he had this famous speech. You can go look it up where he said, you know what? Because of the speculators, by the way, the speculators he's talking about were actual governments like France and Germany and the UK. The speculators were wanting their gold because previous to 1970, for every dollar the U.S. produced, there had to be $1 worth of gold in Fort Knox. And he came out and said in 1970, hey, we're going to decouple those things. We're going to make it so the US dollar is no longer tied to gold. Hey, they did that because in the Vietnam War, they didn't have enough gold to print the money to make new currency to go out and funnel the war effort. So he decoupled those things. From that day on, we have seen hyperinflation in our country, right? And so that's when all of a sudden we've experienced things like, gas going from 25 cents now to $4, right? Milk going from a nickel back then all the way to $8, right? So that's inflation, and that's the difference between real money and currency, right? And so currency is continuing to be devalued, and real money, what I like to call sound money, right, is tangible assets like gold, silver, copper, palladium, real assets. We could even throw into that category if we wanted to, things like oil or natural gas, things that there is actually a real value to that's not tied to a currency.
Now I'm gonna ask you another question, Josh. So when you talking about value of gold and silver and that whole deal, what makes them valuable? Is it that is it supply and demand? Is it that there's only so much of it, or what makes it valuable to our society?
That is a great question. So on my bookshelf, I keep a book here. This book, written quite a few years ago, called "The Creature from Jekyll Island," by an author by the name of G. Edward Griffin. In this book, he outlines that very question. Things like, where does gold and silver get its value? And people want to say things like, well, is it supply and demand, right? Sometimes it goes up based on there's a higher demand in a moment. But where it gets its real value is the same place it's always gotten its value for 5,000 years. And that is the actual cost to extract it from the earth. That's where it gets its value, because when a miner goes out and mines gold, they can only take and go do that effort if they're able to be compensated above what it costs to get it out of the ground. It's the production cost. It just so happens that we say, oh my goodness, gold and silver is going up in value.
Right.
Well, it just costs more to get it out of the ground. And so the miner who mines it, the people that go refine it, have to have that much currency to make it a value. So it's been that way for 5,000 years. It just so happens that gold and silver has never lost its purchasing power.
Yes.
Its purchasing power always stays the same. The amount of products that an ounce of gold bought 200 years ago in our country is still the same that it buys today, right? So, I mean, I give a quick example of that, right? Like, I know some people, your listeners might not like these things, but this is the reality. In 1880, a Colt, the manufacturer of firearms, came out with a Colt Peacemaker, right? They say it's one of the guns that won the West, right? And out here in Idaho, that's kind of a big thing to us. So in 1880, you could buy a Colt Peacemaker for $20 US or 1 ounce of gold. Okay. Sears and Roebuck magazine preferred it if you paid in 1 ounce of gold in 1880. Okay. Well, fast forward to today. We could walk into any gun dealer and can we buy a single gun in the store for $20?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
But 1 ounce of gold is worth $2,500. We can buy almost any Colt pistol made today. It's not that the US dollar it's not that gold went up in value. It's that the US dollar went down in its purchasing power, but gold maintained the same purchasing power for the 150 years, right? The same amount of goods and services that gold bought then, it can buy today. That's the reality of what gold and silver can actually do for people.
You made a comment that you can't walk into a store with $20 to buy a gun, and you can if you have another gun in your hand. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
$20, here's
true,
the gun.
maybe.
You know what I'm saying? So you got that. No, it is interesting because value is really defined in my mind as something what is an amount somebody's willing to pay for anything.
True.
Because, I mean, if I'm not interested in something, the person can turn to me and say it's free, but if I have no value of it, no, thank you. But if someone wants to pay X amount of dollars for something, then you've established a value based on what that person's willing to pay, right?
Correct. Exactly. And that's why we see sometimes a little bit additional spikes in gold and silver, is because the masses or big corporations or banks are massively buying at one time. And we'll see an additional spike or additional bump. We just saw that the day that the rockets started to go between Iran and Israel.
Right.
In that day, gold spiked by another $120.
Right.
Because institutions around the world bought large quantities of gold,
Mm.
which drove the price up a little more. Not thousands of dollars, but a little more bump, $100, $120. So yeah.
I have
George?
a quick question, Josh. My wife specifically, she buys gold coins and silver bars and that kind of stuff. And I'm new to 7K. Only recently have listened to what Aaron and Rick have talked about. And I was just curious, where was the beginning, the genesis of all this of 7K? What was that all about, and how did it get started?
Yeah, I love that question. So George, that question I love. In 2016, myself and my other 3 business partners, we got together and we looked across the landscape and we realized that we have been really blessed and we understand the value of gold and silver and we understand the value of assets. But we looked across the landscape and we realized that the actual people who needed gold and silver in the world, 1, they couldn't afford it, and 2, they didn't know about it. The kings and queens of this earth have always known about it. The wealthiest families have always used it. And I always say this, they've used it to maintain power and maintain freedom for themselves and their corporations and their companies. And in 2016, we said, we need to start a company that we can actually put gold and silver in the hands of people who have never owned it before. And we need to do it in such a way that if they don't have extra income to buy it in their first time, in their first experiences, we need to make it so that if they refer it to other people, there's a commission on everything in this world, right? Someone's getting paid for the sale of everything on earth. So why don't we take that and the little bit of commissions that's available for gold and silver, why don't we pay it to those that tell other new people who have never bought it before about it, and let's give them the commission so they can then buy gold and silver. So that's the genesis, right? Of we wanted to get gold and silver in the hands of people that never owned it. And if they didn't have the money to pay for it, hey, let's find a way through a referral marketing program that they could refer others to it. And then they could earn the commissions in order to buy it. And it's really been a journey. One of those things that was just, as we started in that path, we learned really quickly that the deck is stacked against the first time gold and silver buyer. Meaning, you might turn on a Fox News or a CNN, and you're going to see endless ads for gold and silver, right? You're going to see them nonstop, barrage. But if you call those companies, they only want to do business with people that can buy $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 at a time. That is not the middle class of America. Middle class of America can spend $100, maybe extra, maybe $500, maybe $20. And so through that process and that genesis of starting the company, we actually decided to come out with a different model inside of a product we offer called Sound Money, where people could buy fractional ownership in gold and silver at any hour of the day, anytime, and store it in our vaults. And when they got to a full ounce, they could take delivery of it, or they could, if they needed to, instantly liquidate it and turn it back into cash if they needed instant cash. And so, for us, it's a mission. Let's go out. We want to make it so people have the opportunity of never owned gold and silver to buy it and make it really simple for them. And so, yeah, great question, Bill George.
Thank you.
Well, it's and I think that the key thing that I want to reiterate to everybody watching, because it was important to me, the everyday person. I mean, nobody with today's economy that is not comfortable wealth-wise. I don't have $2,300 to walk in and buy a gold bar this second, but I do own dust, as my wife likes to call it.
Yes.
It's a quarter ounce in total, but we joke and laugh about it. But the bottom line is, it's mine.
Right.
And I'm in the process of buying it fractionally when I have $10, $5, $100, and there's no rush to do it. But I never thought I would. You see gold. Oh, it'd be really cool. Why is a gold bracelet or 14 karat gold necklace you want is $2,000? Well, this is why.
Right.
So for the everyday Joe fan, like we like to talk about it, Josh, it's a brilliant model because now it's available for everybody. Mm-hmm. Whether you're going to buy one ounce or a fraction or whatever, or a coin, or it's available to everybody, and that's what I love about it.
And for
by the way,
how long have you been around?
Yeah, so we started in 2016.
Okay.
And to Aaron's point, when we started the company, we said we got to make it so that if you're buying $20 worth or you're buying 20 million, you pay the same price. That's opposite of everything else in the world, right? The wealthiest people on this planet, they get all the special deals. They get all the special pricing. And so the idea and the model of the company was, let's sell it at the same price, whether you're buying $1 of gold fractionally or you're buying $1 million, you pay the same price. And if you want to liquidate it, we're going to pay you the same liquidation price, because we live in a time where transparency is king, right? It's the most important thing in our world, and our new marketplace has been created in the world. And so I love that you bought some gold dust and you have it, because it makes me smile when we think we're getting in the hands of the people that need it.
Absolutely.
And also, Josh, there's folks out there that have no idea what they're doing. They walk into a store, right? And they look at some silver and they're like, I don't know anything about silver. I don't even know how to buy it. So what do I do once I sign up with 7K? What do I do? How do I get silver that has value? And each year and each moment and each month that I buy it, and how can I get silver into my hands?
That is, you know what? So that's another really important question, right, Rick? As human beings, we're not always the most disciplined people. I can attest, right? I got this belly and stuff. We're not disciplined by nature. That's not most people. And so it was paramount for us to say, let's build a structure where we can send people a monthly, what we call our coin of the month, where you don't have to think about it. You just get a coin sent to your house every month, and at least you're stacking one cool graded collectible coin a month. And that's the discipline aspect, right? We take that, we kind of put it on autopilot. We put everything else in autopilot in our life, right? That we need discipline around. And I use this as an example. The first time I ever saw a graded coin, something like this, right? A perfect graded coin. First time I saw this, I said, wow, this is really powerful. There's an item there that we could do some cool collectible things around that would make, for everyone from a little kid, a 5-year-old child to a 100-year-old man or woman, find interest and value in the artistic ability, in what speaks to them through this. This happens to be a coin that's got a paper airplane and a jet on it. But artistic value. What's cool is we got to make things so people want to collect them. The first time I ever saw one, I never thought about it. I saw it. I went and did some research. I found out that if I had bought an MS-70 Silver Eagle from the day they were created in 1986, when the awesome President Ronald Reagan decided that the American people should be able to buy gold and silver again, and he signed this thing into law called the Gold and Silver Bullion Act in 1986, and said, hey, the American people should own gold and silver, and they should be able to have it again. It was illegal before that for a little while.
That's right.
When he did that, he started the U.S. Mint back up, and they started producing what's called the Silver Eagle. If you'd have bought one Silver Eagle a month since 1986 until, at that time, 2016, one a month, and it happened to be perfect and graded like this, right? A perfect one. And let's say you had an autosaver, this autopilot program from 1986 till then, and it came to your house. And if you had done that and bought one every month, you would have spent around $57,000, and they would have been worth $1.6 million.
Jesus.
Okay. Now, nobody told us this, right? Nobody told us this. So when I did that math and I went, oh my goodness, it's not just about buying silver. It's not just about buying gold. It's about knowing what to buy,
Right.
and having somebody else do all the research and do all the knowledge,
Right.
and making it available to people. And so that's one of the reasons in 2016 why we started the company. When we did that reverse math, we went, oh my goodness, I wish Grandpa would have told me that.
Yeah. That's
Right.
You taught. I don't know if you saw it, but during your comments about the artistic ability and what your passions are, Rick and I quickly looked at each other, and I've shared this story where for a year, and I love this man to death. For a year, he was just talking about this thing, 7K, showing a coin. Yeah, Rick, I get it. I'll look at blah, blah. For a year, honest to God. So, John, you have the remote to the Zoom camera here. Can you zoom in if you can? So I'm a Batman geek.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So one day he walks in. I don't know if you're going to do the manual. I thought you had the other Zoom, so I'll wait till you have it up. So I don't know if you can see the back of my phone here, but he says to me, he says, hey, big guy, let me show you something here. All right. Opens up a stack and sell. And he says, I got to show you something. So I said, great. I can hardly imagine what he's going to show me. And I'm stalling until John gets the camera working there. And he says, check this out. And is the Batman coin with Michael Keaton on it and the 1989 Batmobile.
Yes.
He showed this to me. I think it was a Wednesday.
It was
because then I jumped on the call that night and I joined because of this cockamamie coin right here. No, I took it as an omen. There you go.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love that coin. It was a big deal when we sold that coin.
So suffice it to say, and then here's the backside. That should tell you why I'm into Batman. But anyway, so
he's got a costume too, Josh.
I have a costume. I have a belt. I got it
all the time.
I do. I have Adam West's cowl in my collection. But anyway, so he shows me this coin, and that was the sign for me. In all honesty, not that I gave in to him. But after a year, listen, I'm Jewish. I'm born skeptical. Let's face it. I got the S gene. It's in me, skeptical. I got it. And I've done these. He showed me that coin, and I told him, that's it. What time's the call tonight? And I was all in because now it combined my love for Batman with the beautiful artwork on all the coins. And I have many of the ones that are available on Stack and Sell now, although I hope my wife's not watching. But anyway, so I've been able to combine that love for a passion, but more importantly, build my portfolio. And look, I'm going to say this as a personal experience because we're not going to guarantee anybody's results or anything like that. This is just this person right here. I pulled up my dashboard. Okay. If anybody can show me how to invest my $100 bill and get 19.1% over 12 months of interest, I'm in. So far, no one has done that, but that's what the value of my portfolio is today over a year. And I'm delighted.
Well, that's another question I have, Josh, since he showed the Batman coin.
Yeah. Yes, they have Superman coins.
Well, not even that. I'm looking like sports teams, Raiders, specifically NFL coins. Who comes up with the ideas to get?
That's a great question.
To get these type of coins, like you said, to get people interested. Who decides? And how do you get DC Comics or Marvel's permission to do stuff like that? What do you have to do for that?
So it's
Raiders.
Yeah, we do things all over the world, right? With all kinds of organizations. We actually produce more collectible coins than anybody on earth. And I could just tell you every licensing deal is different, right? We've done lots of things with DC Comics, with Marvel, with Disney, with AC/DC, with Guns N' Roses, right? Like all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we built the first ever AC/DC silver guitar picks. Right, like we remade guitar picks in silver with AC/DC, and it was really cool, right? So, but when you talk about sports teams, every sports team, this is the difference, right? Like I have to approach people. We've done things, we did, things with Donald Trump in the 2020 election, and we did things with made coins with John Wayne's foundation and the USS Arizona with the 9/11 Foundation. You name it, right? It's all about the licensing agreement because this is a legacy play. There isn't a lot of we don't want to have a coin that's got an extra $20 going to an organization, and then you got to charge $20 more for the coin. This is a legacy play. But when we do something really cool, right, like a 3-dimensional coin for AC/DC, I'm using them as an example. They want the legacy. That silver guitar pick is going to be around for thousands of years. It's not going to go bad, right? So it's a legacy play for the future generations. We've done some big licensing deals. We were this close to doing a big deal with the NFL, with the NFL Hall of Fame, and it blew apart. But we've done a lot of big things with Marvel. We've done almost all the Marvel characters. Almost all the Disney characters.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Josh. When you say something like with the NFL Hall of Fame, it blew apart. Is there an opportunity to go back again later?
Yeah, always, right? Always.
I'm like my dog. My ears perked up when I saw the AC/DC.
I just pulled it up on my phone.
The AC/DC stuff. Then my dog. My ears go. What?
I did give a suggestion.
Yes.
When we had the coin show there to one of the guys to show in the sets, and I said, as a Batman guy, I want to see Adam West's Batmobile, the 66 Batmobile, because I know there's Adam West coins and a Robin. I have those, but the 66 Batmobile, that's the coin that I
can see what we can do there.
All right, just for me. Just for me, my own coin drop.
Lots of fun things.
So, Josh, what you're telling me is that when you get the silver and gold out of the ground, it's only worth so much. But what really gives it the value is when you put something on that's artistic, that has history, that has relevance in that whole deal, in our society, in that whole deal. And that's what makes that silver or that gold even more costly, right?
Yeah, it's like
Maybe-
anything, right? We
Mhm.
we ought to. I mean, there's art in this world, right? And there's
Right.
collectability of things. So when you take gold and silver that already has a value, and you turn it into an artistic piece, something that's collectible, and it turns into something that other people already like to collect, like we're talking about Batman or Superman. Now you've just increased its value, right? And I've just learned, okay, the big institutions of the world, they buy gold and silver in big blocks in 1,000-ounce bars, and they store it in vaults.
Right.
The common person can't do that.
Right.
But the common person has interests. They have things that they already love. So let's tie the two together. Let's get them stacking some silver, and let's do it in something that they want to show off, they want to talk about, and they want to show to their kids or grandkids or neighbors, or and make it fun. But at the end of the day, the real value is if things got really bad in the world, what's awesome is Aaron has something that he likes in a Batman coin, but it's got real value. It's an ounce of silver. And if things got really bad in this world, that ounce of silver is worth an ounce of silver. And it can be used that way for a medium of exchange and a lot of things. But along the way, it sells right now for a lot more than an ounce of silver because there's another collector out there that loves that and wants it. And so typically we see those things sell for 4 or 5 times what the price of the silver is.
So what do they? So you take the coin. It's not just a silver coin anymore. It's got something that somebody likes. Is it like carved into the image? Is carved into the coin?
Josh, hold the answer on that because I got to
Yes.
pay a couple of bills. I got to take a break, but that's a great question. We'll come back on. You are watching the Roundtable. Josh Anderson, he is one of the founders of 7K Metals. More with him. He's got a podcast that's launched about what he and another one of the co-owners do. We got still a lot to do. We will be right back.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Hi, we're back. Bingo was his name. Oh, the Roundtable, 702-992-3207. I know Steve is out there. Good buddy Steve popped up in the chat room.
Hey, Stevie, what's up,
So if
big dog?
anybody else is out there that we all know through 7K, jump in the chat room, say hey, say hi. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's fine too. And if you don't have nothing nice to say, at least say hi. Anyway, all right. So George was asking about how the coins come up with the artistic design and how those are done in the coin itself. We should have brought the Chuck Yeager coin with us.
Oh, yeah.
So talk about that.
Yeah, so the way coins are made, it's quite a process. You take the raw silver in this case, let's say, you take the raw silver, they grind it up into little pellets, they melt it completely down, and they pour it out in sheets, in a big sheet, roll it out until it's a perfect thickness that they need. And then they take this machine and they punch holes in it and make a blank, a round blank. You take that round blank and you put it in a hydraulic press. And that hydraulic press will have a die on the top and bottom that's been carved by a CNC router. And then with immense pressure, you smash that coin, right? One big strike, smash it. And we're teamed up with some of the greatest mints in the world, and we make some of the only 3-dimensional coins in the world. So most of our coins are 3-dimensional. They stick off of the coin upwards of, you can't see it. It would do no good, but I'd hold it up. But this coin sticks off. This one I'm holding sticks off about 1/8 of an inch. So the paper airplane in this coin is 1/8 of an inch off the actual coin. So it's 3-dimensional. And we've been doing that. Our first time ever doing it, we tried to do some cool stuff. We reproduced all of the Roman emperors. We took all of the 12 ancient Roman emperors that had their own currency, and we reproduced their coins 3-dimensionally. It won Coin of the Year. This is about 5 years ago. Put us on the map for 3-dimensional coins, and we've been doing it ever since. And it's bringing artwork to life, right? In a way. So yeah, that's kind of the process.
I wanted to talk about mintage because that certainly adds value because there's so few of ones. And as you're talking, was answering George's question, I was in my stack trying to pull up the Chuck Yeager coin. So talk about mintage.
Yeah, so mintage is one of those things, right? Like we choose to produce really cool coins and we keep the mintages really low, right? There might be 50,000 people in the world that want to buy a certain coin. But if you go out and you build that coin and you only produce 1,187 of them, right? 2024, guess what? Now there's immense pressure. There's immense extra value because there's 20,000 people that want an item that there's only 2,000 of.
Right.
And you dramatically see values go up in the secondary market. We just got released the Chuck Yeager Breaking the Sound Barrier coin. I have it. You won't be able to see it very well, but it's a 3-dimensional coin. It's the first of its kind where the actual coin is the plane is flying through the actual coin. You probably never be able to see it, but that's the front side.
Look at show
That's
the edge.
awesome.
Show from the edge.
Beautiful.
From the edge.
From the edge. There you
Beautiful.
go. So
Look
you
at
can
that.
see the.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
All the way
cool,
through
man.
the coin.
I'm so
right?
glad you
Beautiful.
pulled that up because I brought it up on my stack and sell, and
Yes.
unfortunately the picture's not great when I blew it up. So I'm so glad you have that.
But and for me, right, our company, our team always just wants to share history. Like we like to share history. And I'm an entrepreneur. So what we really want to do in the world is we want to teach the principles behind it. So when Chuck Yeager got in the plane that day, 99.9% of everyone involved believed he was going to die.
right.
That's right.
Right? He was going to try and break the sound barrier, and every attempt before had failed. And I just got to admire men who say, we're going to try and do something for humanity that needs to be done. And we think we figured out the answer. I'm going to get in the cockpit. And I love this, the comment he made. He said, the cockpit shakes the most 1 mile an hour before you break the sound barrier. Meaning in life, right? Isn't that life? Like everything difficult happens right before we break through. Right before we break through on anything meaningful in life, the biggest challenges and the biggest hurdles happen right before. I'm an entrepreneur. I've experienced this my whole life.
Right.
The difference is I just admire the men and women that have come before us who, when they push through those moments and they make the massive difference for all of us. And so we like to commemorate those things, right? So we build coins that commemorate greatness. And in a world where there's lots of cancel culture and craziness out there in the world, we choose to put history on a median of gold and silver that cannot go away. The only way this goes away is if somebody gets this 1980 degrees. If it gets to 1980 degrees, it won't happen. It's not going away.
So what I want to ask about first before we're talking about the gold and silver available and the fractional buying. Steve Maniotis says, can Josh talk about how they established the mintage on the coins? That's a great segue. I think it is so significant how they choose mintages and adds value to the story behind the coin. So go ahead and address that first.
Yeah. So for us, right, it's all about information and teaching. So things like a coin like that will have a mintage of the actual amount of speed it takes to break the sound barrier. Or when we did, you guys are putting me on the spot.
1181. I got
1181 or 87. 1181. Thank you.
81.
1181 miles an hour breaks the sound barrier. So that's how many of that coin there are. It's a history lesson. It's teaching. Or things like when we did the project with the USS Arizona,
Right.
we did a 5-ounce 3-dimensional coin of the USS Arizona that's now on display at the memorial. The mintage is the amount of sailors that are entombed inside the USS Arizona.
There you go.
Or like we did a project with the 9/11 Foundation, and we called it the Miss Liberty coins, right? And it's the amount of people we lost in the Twin Towers, right? So you tell history at every point. We're using the medium to tell history so that people can learn and be educated. We can share it with our kids and our grandkids, right? And we can use it as a teaching moment.
So we talked about stack and sell, where you can do the coins to add to your asset. We touched on sound money for fractionally buying gold bars and silver and all that. But there's a lot more benefits that are available in the business through 7K. Benefit-wise, there's 7K Advantage, there's health and all of that. Can you touch on some of those additional things that the company provide.
Like anything, right? Our core is gold and silver coins, and it's getting gold and silver in the hands of people. But like anything, we have a massive amount of people. So because of that, there are opportunities out there, like things like 7K Advantage, where big companies come to us every day and say, hey, we'd like to participate with your database. And so we just allow them to use those wares. So 7K Advantage, 7K Health, these are ways that because you're part of a family and you're part of a community within 7K, you get access to better deals on hotels and rental cars and all those kind of things, right? And so it's one of those things that memberships have benefits. And when you're part of collecting a group of people together, there's power. When we first started the company, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur. So when I saw my first collectible coin, I asked a couple simple questions. I said things like, who's selling the most of those in the world? And the gentleman that was pitching me said, well, QVC sells the most of those in the world. And I said, how much do they sell? He said, $159. I said, wow, okay. I said, who sells the second most? And he said, well, there's 37,000 independent coin dealers across the country who sell a few of them at a time, a month. I said, wow, nobody's ever gathered together the customer. And I immediately turned to my business partner, Zach Davis, and said, you know what? We could actually be Uber, Airbnb. We could gather together the customer. And when you gather together the customer, endless opportunities will be available. So we gather together people that wanted to buy coins. And because of that, other services like cheap healthcare and movie tickets and rental cars and hotels are now part of it as well. So, yeah.
And Josh, we also look at the membership aspect of it, right? Just like Sam's Club and Costco. I call our business the Sam's Club and the Costco of the gold and silver world and that whole deal.
Except
so
you can't get good pizza yet.
Yeah, you can.
No juice testing.
Hot
No
dogs.
hot dogs. No dollar hot dogs.
No.
Right. So can you do me a favor? Can you go through like the membership aspect of it as well, so folks folks can understand what the memberships are and how they work for them?
Yeah. So, we, like any business, you have to decide what your model is going to be. And if you're going to make it so that people don't have minimums and maximums to buy gold and silver, there's got to be a give and take there somewhere to make up some of these differences. So we chose to do the Costco model. Kind of, you have a membership that allows you to buy gold and silver without minimums or maximums. It allows you to store in the vaults for free if you have a membership up to a large amount, right?
Right.
And that was a decision we made that, hey, let's have a membership model where you get all these benefits because you're a member. And because of that, we have a month-to-month membership where people just buy our coin of the month for like $139, $149 to join, $139 a month. Or we have, yearly memberships, or we have legacy lifetime memberships where somebody, unlike Sam's Club, where you can come in and buy a lifetime membership, and then you're able to purchase without minimums and maximums. You're able to have storage in the vaults. You're able to have access to one of our companies called Stack and Sell. And you were showing off there, Aaron, we're the only inventory management system for collectible coins in the world. We created that product out of necessity and out of a desire. I watched people, really nice little ladies, taking our coins, selling them on Craigslist or on Facebook Marketplace, and going and meeting shady dudes at convenience stores in Las Vegas, right?
Right.
And I went, we can't have this, right? We can't have that. So we started a company called Stack and Sell where we joined buyers and sellers together. Think about eBay for collectible coins, but the difference is we know how to judge these coins, and we know if they're real or not. So we stand in the middle of the transaction. We guarantee the coin's real. We guarantee that this coin, if a seller sells it, we know what it is. It comes in, we inspect it, we know it's real, and then we release it to the buyer. So those are things, right? And people can buy a lifetime membership to those services with us. And so it's really an awesome process and a really simplified process, right? And if you have a membership, you're able to get access to these limited mintage coins, right? So yeah, really simple.
Let me do this. If anybody would like more specific details about the membership, you can shoot us an email at theroundtablelv@gmail.com. Again, that's theroundtablelv@gmail.com. We will be more than happy to respond to you to get you more detailed information. Patrick Frazee, thank you for joining us, buddy. I see your message in there. And yes, I will contact you after we get off the air to provide you more information direct. Thank you for inquiring. Okay. We have what else we want to podcast. Speaking of podcasts,
Yeah.
you just launched one with Zach. Talk about that. Let's give you a little pop here.
Well, I appreciate that. No, so this is not something that I love to do in the world, right? But Zach,
know it, though.
Zach Davis and I are uniquely positioned, right? We own many large companies, and our friends and our business associates around the world are some of the most powerful men and women on the earth. And so we decided through pressure from others to start a weekly podcast called the Sound Money Podcast. You can find it on YouTube, and it will be on Apple Music. It'll be on Apple and on Spotify next week. But it's a unique opportunity for us, right, to get together with entrepreneurs around the world, people, movers and shakers that are doing amazing things, and to help them share their business principles, their philosophies that guide them, and how they've become successful, where they find value in the world, and where they add it. So this past week, we had with us one of the other co-founders of the company, Roger Ball, a man that invented, like all of us have eaten beef jerky in the world. And there isn't a human being in America who doesn't eat beef jerky that he didn't invent the process of what you eat. Soft, moist jerky. Every person on this planet has eaten his jerky and eat it whenever they do eat jerky. No matter almost what brand you buy, it goes through one of his facilities. And so, it's really fun to hear his perspectives on how those businesses were created and who told him along the way he couldn't do things and how he was able to achieve them. And so, of course, we're in a unique position where some of the largest, presidential candidates of the world today are friends of Zach and I's on a couple of the political groups. And so it's a unique opportunity for us to pick their brains on business. And so for us, it's the Sound Money Podcast, Sound Money, Sound Principles, the Believers Podcast. It's an opportunity for us to share entrepreneurial principles with people around the world and give them encouragement.
When are they available on YouTube? Is it weekly, same day, same time?
Weekly. Yeah, they come out usually on Sundays or Mondays is when they come out.
Okay. Gentlemen, if we have nothing else for Josh, I mean, I know for him, it's now 6:00, almost dessert time for him.
Well, it sounds like he's a good man to know.
Absolutely. And you're right. Can we pop up that picture that we started? Because you're right, George. I mean, how often do we get founders of any company to pop on? Last week at the convention, because I did reach a certain level within the company, it's called an associate. And Donna was there. I didn't get a picture. I know Donna, Rick's wife, was a few steps ahead of me in line. I didn't get the picture from you, so I would put that up there. That's my bad. Right. But so yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to shake hands with, and that's Zach in the picture also that right. Josh was just talking about, to be able to walk across the stage, shake hands with these guys, say hello, and thank them for this opportunity, for the everyday guy and gal and everybody, and now to have them on our show.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
A week later,
we thank you.
I appreciate the invite, and you guys are doing great things. Keep up the good work, and we're happy to be tied with people like you. So thanks for all you do.
Josh,
appreciate it, Josh.
Thank you so very much taking the time with me there at the convention. Once again, Orlando can't come fast enough.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. See you later.
Have a good night.
All right.
Nice meeting you, Josh.
All right. I mean, look, I have goosebumps.
I know, man.
I mean,
yeah.
I have a. Well, never mind. Never mind.
I'm gonna stay out of this.
This table's starting to.
No, it's only leaning on that
table's
side.
Starting to.
Is it shaking?
So we have about 5-6 minutes left. Do you have anything for America Speaks, or we want to touch
really.
on
I was just
sports or whatever?
Well,
sports.
I do.
Let's go.
Sports.
Let's do it.
I just want to send my condolences to the Joe Collier family.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to play under Joe Collier. He's the inventor of the 4-3 defense. Our Orange Crush defense was simply awesome. In 1977, they only gave up 10 points a game.
It's incredible.
That's in 14 games. They only gave up 10 points a game, and I don't know of any other team that's even come close to that. And so Joe Collier, he used his players, guys. He used his players. They might not have been big. They might not have been the most talented, but boy, his schemes, man, set them up, man, to be the best player that you can possibly be on the field.
And you had Carl Mecklenburg, Randy Gradishar on those teams.
Yeah. Well, Carl wasn't there until the 80s. We're talking about 77, 78, 79, and 80. Those were the years, man, that was the original Orange Crush defense in that old deal. And Joe was one of those guys that you could go and talk to. Didn't matter whether you played offense or defense. If you went and talked to him, he gave you true knowledge and wisdom of what he knew in the game from being around it for so long.
Wow.
Right. And so he would always tell me, he would fool with me in that whole deal. He says, Rick, you know what? Our defense is pretty doggone good. We'll stop them. You run them back. I said, yes, sir. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So to the Collier family, Joe, you got your wings. You left the world so much better for all of us as former players that you had, and also for all the people that know him. Joe, rest well. We love you.
Yep, rest in
Absolutely.
peace there. Now, again,
yeah.
speaking of Denver, now we're going to switch a little bit of the NBA. The Nuggets are in trouble, Rick.
Boy,
What do you think? I'm concerned because I wanted to see my dream championship of Celtics Nuggets here. And
well, it's that length that Minnesota has. They are long across the board, and they're young, right? When you got those young legs, as we saw, against Oklahoma.
right.
Oklahoma's got those. Everybody's like, man, they'll beat Dallas. Dallas will beat them. I said, no, those young legs, man, we're into the second season. They're the ones that are going to carry them into the fourth quarter.
Right.
And if you have depth on your bench,
Right.
you have to have the depth because it's a long season, right?
Right.
And so your starting five are going to get tired, and you got to be able to hold a lead or either keep it close in order to win at the end.
Well, what bothers me is the Nuggets have lost at home now, and now they're going to tomorrow night, I guess.
Well, we just saw with
Minnesota.
with Golden Knights, right?
Yeah.
The Golden Knights won the championship last year, guys. It's hard to repeat
Yes.
because once again, it's a long season for you.
Lost our bet, John.
And then second of all, you say to yourself, I'm tired. I don't know where I'm going to find the extra energy
Right.
in that whole deal. So when you win championships, there's a good.
Oh, repeating's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because you're the hunted
Yes.
versus the hunter, and it's
Right.
always a little different. All right, real quickly, just one other thing. We were talking about Chuck Yeager space and all that stuff. NASA's proposed plasma rocket for anybody who wants to go to Mars can get you there in 2 months.
Yeah. And originally, when I
In
said
2
that,
months.
yeah, normally,
What about your luggage?
right. Well,
It'll get lost.
Well,
in
the funny-
Orlando.
It'll never leave.
It'll never leave.
That's called the James rule.
and we're all thinking 2 months, that's a long time. Well, before they
It
were
was
talking
years.
9 months,
Years.
9 months
Yeah.
to get from here to Mars, and they've cut it, a quarter. I mean, and hopefully there's this new invention, plasma nuclear,
Right.
which will,
Plasma nuclear propulsion.
What?
Right.
Plasma bursts.
yeah.
Right.
But Star Trek did it in 1960.
Yeah.
Or 60
That's true.
Right.
Comedy
I mean-
at its fine.
Duh.
Now, funny thing that you mentioned Star Trek is that a lot of our space and NASA technology, believe it or not, Gene Roddenberry was way ahead of his time. Remember, they called them communicators.
Yeah.
They were cell phone. I mean, now we have
Yeah.
the cell phone. So it's funny how Gene Roddenberry in that TV series Star Trek actually has, well, whether you want to be a coincidence or not, where technology in that area and space travel is and stuff is coming true.
That's it, absolutely. But the one thing that they can't do right now at this point in time is be able to go through the wormhole because of the beta rays. Those gamma and beta rays, man, will cook us. And so we got to be able to withstand that type of radiation when we're going through that hole and going through the next dimension.
Now, for a trip that long, even 2 months, I need some company, man, some female company. I'm going to have to. 8 weeks is a long time, man.
John
Even
Clark,
on
thank you
Earth.
for jumping in there. He's
Even on Earth, it's a long time.
Support James. I in case anybody missed it, that's in 7K that's watching knows the story about James. I did share that on Aaron's Hour this past Saturday about how his luggage never even left Tampa. Okay. I don't know where.
What, they didn't put it on the airplane? They
Never put it on the airplane. And here was the kicker to this.
How was that possible?
If while he was still in Vegas and they found it, they were going to ship it to him here, no cost, right?
But he's
But
only here.
if it got here and he had already left here to go home, they were going to charge him
Yeah.
to send his luggage
That's
back
right.
home.
Terrible, man.
Then they
That's
go
right.
find out.
So he stayed another week and blew $1 million
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
casino.
Exactly. So they go to find out the luggage never even left the airport. And so his significant other went and got the bag.
But let me
Oh,
tell
my
you, James being the guy that he is,
Oh, yeah.
man, he's a trooper. Homeboy, man, was all in. He went to all the meetings and that.
Didn't
Always had
change his underwear for
smile
4
on
days,
his face
but-
as
I
well.
was just going to say that.
Yes.
Oh,
He
you
wore
know
his
what else?
underwear.
You know what else happened to me this weekend? I had an opportunity, man, to go golfing this weekend. I haven't had a club in my hand forever, right? And so I had a chance to go and
Not even
MGM
cards.
Bets, right? MGM Bets.
Mhm.
They did a thing, man, with a bunch of us athletes.
Right.
Rod Woodson, Barry
Oh,
Sanders,
cool.
a bunch of baseball players and that whole deal. Played golf with those guys in that whole deal, right? And I mean, for me to stand there with Barry Sanders and that deal and shake his hand, I saw him play when he was in high school.
Wow.
And so I brought that story up, about it to him and that deal. He's like, "Oh, really? You were there in Wichita, Kansas?" I said, "Yes, I was, man. No doubt about it."
Oh,
But
that's
that
right.
was so much fun, guys.
Sure.
So much fun to get together with those guys, man, to sit down and tell a bunch of lies and a little bit of the truth. I'm telling you, man, it was so much fun.
That's
It was.
funny.
Good. All right. We are out of time, according to the big clock on the wall.
According to the big clock.
Already. Listen,
Oh my
Josh is
goodness,
very
man.
entertaining.
Well, why
so-
is the clocks different here? Where that was like
because it takes that
Different
long.
time zones. What the hell's the matter with you?
it's the same time. It's you're like
No. I'll give you the answer.
13 seconds.
That's
Thir-
west. This is east. The farther east you go,
It's 6 seconds
wait a minute.
slower.
That's how long it took
Idaho
him.
is an hour ahead of us, right?
Yeah, well, this is only 9 seconds.
That's
It's
how long
9
it took
seconds.
him.
That's how long it takes to get from here to there.
I'm gonna put my hat
Oh, but
on.
shit,
this
you can
one.
go from here to Mars and get pictures of the moon in less than
There's
9
my
seconds.
hat, y'all.
Oh my
The
gosh.
round table, baby.
There
This is
you
what
go.
you get.
Oh, boy.
This is what you
Hey,
get.
that's it. The answer's
So
done.
turn it
Canceled.
off. All right. Final thoughts as we say goodbye so we can get out of here.
No, man, what a great conversation today. Really was interesting to hear about. And I want the NFL coins, Josh.
He
Get
took
get
notes.
back
I
get
noticed he
back
took
in there.
notes.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
He took notes on yours when I mentioned the Batmobile. He was jotting down stuff, man.
No doubt.
That's
man.
cool.
Yeah. Well, for me, man, I've just had a great week. I've been on fire. My energy was good from the conference last week, and I've just been busy, and I'm going to stay busy, man, getting people to understand that gold and silver is the way to go.
Speaking of that, I've been busy the last couple of weeks hanging out with Al Pacino and Vince Vaughn. I won't say hanging out, but I've had some fun the
We
last
can't
couple
talk
of
to him
weeks.
anymore.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to let me get my seat higher
That's
now.
right.
There we are. I'll be
If
sitting
you,
like
if you
this.
want more information on what you heard today from Josh, just send us an email. We'll be happy to reply. The roundtablelv@gmail.com. I'll reply. Rick will reply. We'll get you some information. That's the beauty of it, folks. It's information. What you do with it is simply up to you. All right.
That's a good
Final
one.
thoughts.
Final thoughts. You know what? Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there. Boy, the summer is coming.
It is.
Kids will be out of school. Let's be safe and make sure that we enjoy our summer.
And I'll be lounging by my pool when all that stuff
It's going
happens.
to be 90s this weekend.
I know.
We're going to hit 90 for the
Have
first
a great
time.
week, everybody. Program reminder, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Doc Val and myself, Kiwanis Connects, of course, Bad Dad Jokes. And I understand a whole new intro for that. Oh, I can hardly
Bad
wait.
dad jokes. That's
Join
woman
us 9
now.
a.m. for all the best of Kiwanis Connects, not only through our division, but our district and around the world. As always, be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. We'll see you next time right here on The
Round
Round Table.
Table.